Hello.
Hey.
We both waited and then we both said hello at the same time. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good. The sun's come out
Good.
again. We've had a lot of rain,
Nice.
but it's doing a sunny evening thing, taunting us
Nice.
with its sunniness before it goes away again. Tomorrow morning. So I've got a juicy word for you today. Are you ready for
Juicy.
a juicy word? Yeah.
So ready. Yeah.
Anger.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah. Well, it's just a lot of thought created explosions in the mind. Actually, it doesn't need to be. It can be a slow burning under, don't even know it's happening, or no one else might even know it's happening kind of emotion. Yeah, it is juicy. Thank you. I see that when we're in resistance to how things are, to circumstances of life, whatever it might be, that there's all different kinds of emotions that can come up around it. And anger's one, angry that this happened or that happened. I really just see it as resistance to what is. And, the experience of it, yeah, that was interesting to see that it could show up like an explosion of some kind, an outburst of angry words. It can show up as the silent treatment. Yeah. Yeah, it's just really a lot of thinking in resistance or against something. We want it to be different. We want it to be other than it is. There's probably a lot that can be wrapped up in anger, confusion, scared. Like, how many times has someone either intentionally or unintentionally snuck up on you and scared you, and you respond in anger? It happens to me, and it's not that, and it did feel like what I would call anger, but it was but first it was just shock, surprise. Interesting. I haven't really thought about that. Yeah. And in other ways, I just see a lot of resistance. There's things that have, happened in the past, and I can get angry about them when I think about them. And sometimes it's just like, ugh, I should have said this or that, or replaying a story in my mind of how, and even that, is it really anger? I see a little bit of regret for not responding in a way that would have been more true to me. Here's another thing that sort of comes up when I can't think of anything like in the recent past, but in the further, years ago, I see that when I felt like I didn't have a voice, when I felt maybe cornered or helpless or whatever, again, here's this fear coming up. The anger, it came up like bleh. Because there was this, when I just imagine this pendulum of not having a voice and feeling, inadequate or unable, and really just fear. And then it's either there and being silent and having it burning underneath the surface and contracting, or the pendulum swings the other way and it's like outburst, which neither is really helpful. Yeah, let's start there. What do you see? What do you see about anger?
Well, I mean, right now, you're going to be really amused, but I'm having a real life experience of this. So I'm just going to take one moment to pause our conversation, Michaela, and just remind Bruce that this recording that's been happening every week for many a week is happening now. And I'm going to do it in as calm a way as I possibly can, and then I'll be straight back to you. So just bear with me.
I love it. I love live demos.
So that was really funny because as you were talking, I could feel this build-up of, I guess I might call it irritation rather than anger. But I guess, you know what you're saying? Like I was probably appearing perfectly calm and listening to you. And all the time I was thinking, he's forgotten again. Because that is something that Bruce doesn't always retain. Like, you know, he doesn't retain regular things in his head. I do often do something at 8:45 in the morning, 7:45 in the morning, and he often forgets. And that just was really funny in real time to be feeling what you were describing, that kind of building of this, like, I can hear him. He's banging around in the bathroom, and now he's coming down the stairs like a baby elephant, and now he's in the kitchen. And I can hear him opening doors and rattling things around. Just, I could feel it building up inside me. Just so funny, isn't it? And and I think then there's all sorts of things that come into mind in terms of the conversation that we have around the three principles, and that is, his separate reality. He's not deliberately moving around the house making a noise. He's just forgotten, which is completely human. We all forget things all the time. And that in that moment, that building feeling is letting me know that I'm whirring. I'm the one whirring. He's not doing any whirring, really. I might be opening some drawers in the kitchen, but he's not. That's me. And I'm building a story. And I could kind of almost hear the story and hear the actually separate realities, Clare. He's not doing, I could hear this, oh my God, he's forgotten again. He's always forgotten. I could hear that ranting kind of start, because ranting's probably my, that's how anger, and I don't think it has the energy of anger anymore, like I would have in the past. I always jokingly say my kids learned to swear in the back of the car because I was a very angry. I never got out of the car and had a go at anybody, but I was a very angry driver, and I would swear at all the drivers and beat my horn, and that's how it would come out of me in the moment. And it never gets to that level anymore. It is more of a kind of irritation, frustration kind of thing. So that was just funny when you're talking about it. I just feel it bubbling up. But the other thing that came to mind is that, like, as you were talking about, and you spoke about fear and you spoke about other things, and it was almost like, is it just we get a feeling and then we start storyfying that feeling? We give it a label and we give it a story, and we say the feeling is this. It's anger, or is it fear, or is it, and what is it? And maybe there's something there that's quite interesting around with any uncomfortable feeling, how we go for, we go for a label, don't we, for that feeling. And maybe it's just letting us know that our thinking's out of kilter. Maybe we don't need the label. Maybe we don't need it's anger, it's fear, it's frustration, it's whatever. It's just, in that moment, realizing that I had some wound up thinking about Bruce shuffling about the house, making a noise when I was recording something. So,
yeah,
because we're so quick to label those feelings, aren't we? And I don't think it helps us. I think it tends to take us down some really quite rubbishy rabbit holes, doesn't it?
Sure does. Yeah. No help there. It is a tangle, anger. It does seem like a tangle of emotions, all kinds of things rolled up into this. Into this one thing that we call the expression of anger.
Does have a grrr on the end of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm just noticing, like, things are sort of situations or are popping up of what I don't know why, but what came up in my mind was bullying. And because it, I don't know, I'm just making this up, right? But what it seems like is that there is an underlying anger. And the little bit that I know about it, it seems like frustration and a misunderstanding of where of where our sense of we're okay is not, that we can express in these ways that look and feel to others like anger, to try and help make ourselves feel better, to get in control, or almost like get some sense of security or grounding or a place to stand. But it's slippery. There's no foundation in that expression. And just, what seems to be coming up is like, when just sitting with that, now not with the thoughts of what had the feeling, overall kind of umbrella feeling of anger rise up, not sit with the thoughts of it, but sit with the feeling of it and just really being present to it. I'm so curious what will unravel from just being present to the feeling in the body of it. What might come up in that little space allowed for wisdom to, bring up, and just be released, just be kind of felt, acknowledged, and let go. I've been experimenting with more of sitting with the feelings in my body and just noticing them and just allowing what comes up. And it is first of all, I was so resistant. I was resistant. I still am when I do it. Like, it's not something that I'm practiced at yet. But just sitting with that feeling and where it is in the body and being surprised by what comes up, but not having to deal with it, like not having to do anything, not feeling a need to then analyze it or fix anything. Or it's like a bubble in a pop, where the bubble comes up from the bottom and then it just pops and then it's gone. That's it. There's nothing to do with it. Kind of like that. Yeah.
And I suppose with anger, the opposite of that is what we would do in the world of form. So shower somebody, in its extreme, give somebody a punch on the nose. I've never punched anybody on the nose, but or whatever people do, beep your horn and swear at another driver, or the opposite of that's kind of the opposite. Realizing that the feeling is inside, It's nothing to do with the outside world, because that's the confusion, isn't it, that we're talking about here in this kind of inside out exploration. Is if we feel angry and we think that's coming from our fiance who has forgotten we're recording a podcast and is now banging around in the kitchen, then of course it will look like it makes sense to be rather less polite than I was with him just now when I paused the recording to go and put my head out the door and say, "Have you forgotten I'm recording, sweetie?" And I can go much more extreme than that with in various moments.
Yeah.
And of course we do, don't we? How many of us we snap at somebody we love, we shout, we swear at the tribe, whatever, and then we're left feeling a bit rubbish, aren't we? Or we're left with somebody else who's upset, feeling a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
And that's just because of one little misunderstanding that feeling was ever coming from that other person. And I think Will Smith gifted us at the Oscars a while ago with his, with the Chris Rock slapping thing, and that was just such a gift in terms of this conversation, because I'm going to say he felt angry. I don't know. I'm going to say angry. I think you'd have to be angry to slap somebody across the face. But, and in that moment of feeling anger, it looked like Chris Rock was the source of the anger, and therefore doing something to Chris Rock absolutely felt like the right thing. Whereas if there's an awareness of I'm riled up right now, then there's an opportunity to look after yourself, which is nothing to do with doing anybody and doing anything to anybody in the outside world. It's not that. It's it's take a breath. It's how do we look after ourselves in that moment, because nobody else is doing anything to create that feeling.
Right.
And I guess that's similar to what you're saying about just being accepting of a feeling within us and not needing to do anything about it, not doing anything out there to anybody else or out in the world of form, but not needing to do anything about it on the inside either, because it's fluid and it's going to move through on its own anyway. I mean, just noticing now that all those feelings about Bruce's noise have gone now.
Right.
I don't have to do anything about that. It just went.
Yeah. Yeah. Just catching in the moment, really, when it's coming up. The whole sitting with the feeling of it, that was sort of more when things from the past, because there are memories from the past that come up that I think have been like sort of pushed aside. So yeah, I don't try and sit with every feeling that comes up. I do nothing but sitting with my feelings all day long, because there's feelings popping up all the time. Who has time for that? Yeah. Good.
The past might be something fun to explore. Another one of our conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's just a bunch of thought too. And it's
Absolutely.
just been
Yeah.
habitually thought about and brought about. So yeah, I do play with those. Those are the ones that I play with. I don't play with it because I can get angry and sad and unhappy and delighted and all of that. And it's just like, I just let it all come and go and come and go and come and go. But yeah, there's those ones that will be sticky for some reason. It's like those. It's just like, okay, what is it? And it's like nothing. And it's not anything that I think it is. Like so far, it's never been about what I thought it was. It's like, oh, so curious. Yeah. And there's nothing to do there.
No.
Like I don't need to do that. That's just me, where it's just like, what is this about? Why do I keep having those dreams where I'm, bare? People are able to see me in this state, and I'm just like, I'm so exposed. It's like, what is that? And yeah, it's curious at times, and other times like whatever. Depends. It depends on my mood.
Everything depends on our mood. That's an excellent place to finish. It all just depends on our mood, folks, and that's a takeaway from today.
And it doesn't have to, right? Because
No.
we can, you know, our natural state, just being this calm, you know, peaceful, neutral, well place. That's always there. That's
Absolutely.
the foundation. So every moment of every day, that's there. It's always there.
Yeah.
Beneath, buried under our thinking at times.
Yeah. It's magical to know that's there, isn't it?
Sure is.
Reassuring.
Sure is. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is very good. Yeah, very curious.
Let's talk again soon.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye.